What's going on, perfumers? So in today's video, we're actually going to take a step back into some perfumery basics, and this is for the newcomers out there that just now acquired all their aroma chemicals, all their essential oils, and they're ready to start blending and they want to make a perfume, but they don't know where to start. So the first thing you do before you even put a single drop in your beaker is you need to come up with an attack plan or some sort of theme in place before you even create a perfume. So the first thing we're going to talk about is you need to come up with a fragrance theme before you even start blending anything. And a fragrance theme can really be summed into two different kind of categories. One, it's going to be what kind of perfume type am I going for? And two, what kind of seasonality should this perfume kind of go into? So as far as perfume type, there's so many different out there. You really just have to kind of go out there and just kind of research them. You can get your oriental kind of perfumes. You can get your spicy perfumes. There's aromatics, there's aquatic, there's woodsies and citrus. There's all sorts of different perfume types, which kind of then also ties into what kind of seasonality is really appropriate for them. So before you even start to consider making a perfume, you have to kind of think about, what is my fragrance theme going to be? Would it be something like a summertime fresh, which could be more aquatic, maybe like a woodsy citrus? Is it going to be something like a nighttime going out scent, which could be something real sweet and fruity with a lot of projection? Would it be more of a seasonal, like a winter warm fragrance, which could be like, spicy with cinnamons, or maybe something a little bit sweet with vanilla? I mean, there's so many different seasonalities and perfume types that go hand in hand with each other. So before you actually even start blending any of your concoctions or moving forward with a fragrance idea, you have to lock in your end goal, which is, what is my fragrance theme supposed to be? Now, the second thing you're going to really want to consider is kind of like, what is my gender that I'm going for? Now, usually there's male fragrances, there's female fragrances, and then there's unisex, which kind of applies to both. So typically male fragrances usually end up being a little bit more lighter, like eau de cologne, a little bit more citrusy, a little bit just kind of not projecting and just a little bit lighter, is usually geared towards a men's fragrance. Now, if you go to the female side, usually those are like an eau de parfum concentration, which is a little bit more thicker. They're a little bit more powdered. They're a little bit more sweeter. They're a little bit more floral. And then, of course, unisex kind of goes either way. It could go leaning for both man or female and equally enjoyed by both. So the second thing you need to consider before you make your first perfume or you start blending is, what is my gender objective? Now, the third thing you're going to want to consider also is, what is the age range I'm shooting for this fragrance type that I'm going to build? Is it going to be something young, which could be a little bit more fruity, a little bit sweet, a little bit more playful, probably a little bit more louder and in your face? Or would it be something a little bit more older, which could be a little bit more classier, a little softer, maybe a little bit a little bit more powdery? So age range should be considered, because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one specific age bracket. You could if you wanted to, but it's something you really want to consider if you're swinging towards more the younger crowd or the older crowd, or maybe just everyone. Now, the last thing you really need to consider before you actually start blending any perfume is what I call scenes or memories, or something personal to you. And this one is actually very specific in so many different ways. For example, you can build a perfume that's based off of a theme called, like, maybe a holiday, like maybe Christmas. If you wanted to do a Christmas theme, that could be very rich in like a pine wood, maybe some juniper berry, some vanilla. Or you can do a seasonal fragrance for like Valentine's Day, which could be very decadent with like a gourmand chocolate, or maybe a lot of roses or champagne. There's so many different scenes and memories that you can do. You can actually even do it personalized. So maybe if you do it localized to where you grew up, like if you grew up on a farm and there's specific, farm pastures that you just love the scent of hay and the autumn leaves and woods, you can do things that are very specific like that. And then, of course, there's more broader, scenes, like maybe if you want to do sandy beaches, which could be like sea breezy or seaweed and, aquatics, or maybe like a nautical boat theme, which could be very woody with some ozone accords and some aldehydes to get that kind of sun bright kind of thing going. So scenes or specific memories can be a very big key into building your perfume. Okay, so now just to recap all this, before you even start diving in and start blending anything, put a plan in place. Have an end goal in mind. That way it doesn't steer you off track and you just start dumping random things into your beakers. Because without an end goal, you're never gonna get anywhere and you're never gonna know exactly when your perfume's gonna be finished. You need to have an end goal in mind. So just always remember, what's my fragrance theme? Is it seasonal? And what kind of perfume type am I going for? What is the gender range that I'm going for? Male, female, or unisex? What is the age range that I'm kind of trying to capture? Is it young, playful? Is it older and classy? And then of course there's the wild card factor, which is, scenes from a memory or specific holidays that you can really hone in and just kind of knock it out of the park. So I hope that kind of guides you in a little bit more directive path. That way you're not just kind of aimlessly wandering, just putting random things in a beaker before you even have a plan in place. The key takeaway of this video is have a plan in place before you even start blending anything. That way you have an end goal and something to achieve, something to accomplish, and something to finish. Because once you actually smell your end result with your theme that you intended to go for, you'll know if it's a win or if it still needs more work. And then you just keep on blending until you're happy with it. So I hope this helps all the newcomer perfumers out there. So with that being said, until next time.